Welcome to the Lancaster City Council meeting. Let's call to order the City Council Successor Agency Housing, Finance, Power, California Choice Energy Authority meeting. This meeting is being conducted telephonically, virtually pursuant to Governor's Order N29-20 because this is a telephonic meeting. All votes will be taken by roll call. City Clerk, call the roll, please.
City Council Member, Agency Director, Authority Member Doris.
Present.
Molly.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chair Chris.
Present.
Mayor, Chair Paris.
Here.
We have a quorum.
I didn't want
Back to here.
Okay. I'm turning the meeting over to Kitty Zetto for the Housing Authority.
I think we have, go ahead.
What?
No, go ahead. Kitty, you're on mute.
Sorry. All right, call to order the City Lancaster Housing Authority meeting. City Clerk, roll call, please.
Housing Authority Members Harvey.
Present.
Molly.
Present.
Mann.
Present.
Vice Chair Chris.
Present.
Chair Zetto.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right,
Turn it back over to me.
turning it back over to Mayor Paris.
Thank you. Who's doing the invocation tonight? Do we have anybody? I need some guidance here.
We do not have anyone signed up to do the invocation tonight, is my understanding.
Okay, I will do it. Heavenly Father, if ever we have needed you, we needed you now. Please guide us through this next month. We know how horrible it's going to be for some of our people. We ask you for not only guidance, but help in easing the burden that so many are suffering at this time. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, we virtual, so we don't do the pledge. We have some good things to do. Let's have the virtual tree lighting.
Yes, Mayor, thank you. Normally, I think you hear my dog in the background. Normally, we go through a tree lighting ceremony in the front of City Hall. Obviously, with today's day and age, we're not able to do that because of social distancing and COVID rules. So we have put together a small ceremonial tree lighting, and it's going to be virtual. So with that, to start the season, I know it's a different season than it has been any other season, but we put together a small short video to kind of do a countdown to the tree lighting that is on the boulevard. It also marks our opportunity to share the boulevard events that we have going on that will be starting this weekend, and also some of the ceremonial stuff we're doing from a Christmas perspective at Owen Park. And we'll talk about that a little more at the city manager presentation. So with that, if you want to start the video, Mayor, we can get going with the virtual tree lighting.
Let's start the video.
It was much better with volume, but we'll work on that. But nonetheless, go to the boulevard. Go to the boulevard. Enjoy the event that's going to be happening this weekend. Is going to be far greater than that tree lighting ceremony there. You will enjoy the festivities and enjoy your families on those drive-throughs. So thank you, Mayor.
And, you know, I want to invite everybody to be sure to visit the boulevard as well. I guess I can't do that, can I? They mean it when they say stay home. This is going to get really, really bad. Okay, so you have a presentation to make, Jason.
Yes, sir. As you know, regularly we get to celebrate some of our fantastic employees who have reached milestones in their employment with the city of Lancaster. Today is that day. We get to celebrate Bob Gorson, who is, I don't know if he's on the line, I can't tell or not. I hope he is. If not, I hope he's listening. He is celebrating 20 years of service for the city of Lancaster. And I think before I get into talking about him a little bit, I want to talk about, I know he's a team player, so he would appreciate this, is all of our workers that are out there still to this day working in these conditions. You've seen the paving that's going on, you see the work that's going on, the maintenance, the illegal dumps trying to get picked up as much as possible. These guys are working day in and day out during these conditions. And I know Bob liked to celebrate his 20 years, but also would share the friendship that he's had with all of his friends who are out there currently working. So salute to them. Bob is first and foremost a team player. He's been a great team member for 20 years. He's continued to focus on safety, and morale is noticeable in all of his people he touches. Everybody's a friend of him, and he makes more than just a day at work. He creates an environment of learning and camaraderie, which is really cool for everybody. As a Marine, he's passionate patriot. And as a City of Lancaster employee, he's creative and individual, and his ability to connect with everybody at every level. He has an ability to adapt and overcome. We utilize him in many different areas. He started out in Parks Department. He is now in the Development Services Department. And I can tell you, if you asked him about his 20 years of service, he would humbly comment that he's enjoyed every day, and he enjoys the service of this community. So with that, I want to celebrate Bob Corson and his 20 years of service with the City of Lancaster. So I don't know if he's out there. It's kind of a different way to do this, but thank you so much for your service. And I know you council appreciate him as well.
Thank you.
Excuse me, Jason.
Yeah.
We worked out the audio issue if you wanted us to replay.
Oh, no, we're fine.
Okay.
No, let's do it. Come on,
All
Christmas. I mean, seriously.
right, now everybody's got to go off mute, and everybody has to count down and be festive and excited about the video, even though you've seen it before.
Okay, everybody off mute.
Okay.
Seriously. Okay.
All right, now everybody's got to go off mute, and everybody has to count down and be festive. 4, 3, 2, 1. There we go. Hey, Merry Christmas. Much better, much better.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Andrea.
So, Marvin, are we still going to give the kids bikes this year?
Yes, we did that today. There was a shortage of bikes, so we didn't do as many, but we still did them, and we did them to all the our community homes. So the different community homes came and picked them up, and they took them to their thing today. And thank you for letting us store them at your office facility.
Okay, so are you telling me there's kids out there that don't have a bike in Lancaster? That's disgraceful. Okay. Kitty, it's yours.
All right, do we have any speaker cards for the consent calendar?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on any item on the housing consent calendar, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your call-in number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment on any item on the housing consent calendar. Caller with the last 4 7232. Please state your name.
Good afternoon. I think I made it this time. This is Frances Saris. Yeah, before I really get started, what I wanted to say is I wanted to wish everybody, wish you all a blessed and happy Christmas and a better and healthier, prosperous new year. I want to talk on CC 12. Am I allowed to talk now, or do I wait till you get to CC 12?
It would be appropriate for you to wait till we got to the council agenda. This is the housing consent calendar.
Oh. Okay, I'm sorry. I got the wrong. All right, I'll wait then. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Fran.
Any other speakers?
No other speakers at this time.
Motion to approve the consent calendar for the Housing Authority.
I'll second that.
All right, City Clerk, can you do the roll call?
Housing Authority members Harvey,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Chair Chris,
Yes.
Chair Zeto.
Yes, and passes unanimously. Let me turn the meeting back to Mayor Paris.
Thank you. Is there a motion on the minutes?
Any speaker cards?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on the minutes, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment on the minutes. No speakers at this time.
Is there a motion on the minutes?
Motion to approve M1.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Call the vote?
City Council Member Doris,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris,
Yes.
Mayor Paris.
Yes. Passes unanimously. Okay, Councilmember Mann will need to recuse himself on CC 8 on the consent calendar. Councilmember Molly needs to state that he has a conflict because of a restaurant nearby. He is designated to vote under the rule of necessity. So if Mr. Mann could go dark.
Mayor Paris, you too are conflicted on CC8.
I am.
Yes, you own property nearby. So it would be appropriate for you and Councilmember Mann to go dark and mute, and for Vice Mayor Christ to take the item for CC8, and Councilmember Molly should announce that he has a conflict because he owns a restaurant nearby. But he
So
is designated under the rule of necessity as the one to vote on these items.
So do we not state the reason for recusing? Because
You should.
obviously I own property in the area.
That is the reason for your recusal, and you've now stated it. Thank you.
Yeah, me too. Okay, and Marvin, if you could signal me when you're done, I'll come back on. And I'm turning the meeting over to the Vice Mayor.
Okay. Do we have any speaker cards on CC8?
At this time, anyone wishing to come in on CC8, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your call-in number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment on CC8. No speakers at this time.
Thank you. Raj, you want to make your announcement that you have a conflict? You're on mute.
Okay, sorry about that. I have my restaurant right next to it, so therefore I have a conflict of interest.
However, under the rule of necessity, Councilmember Molly has been selected as the council member of the 3 who have conflicts to vote on this item, pursuant to the drawing of straws we did a number of months ago.
A number of years ago.
That's a number of months too. A lot of them.
So I need a motion and a second for CC8.
I'll
Make a motion. Go ahead, Raj.
It's okay. Go ahead, Daryl.
I motion that we make a motion that we pass CC8 as comprised.
I second that.
We have a motion and a second. Andrea, can you take the roll call vote, please?
City Council Member Doris,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris.
Yes. Motion passes with 3 yes votes. Mr. Paris, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Thank you. Okay, are there any speaker cards on the consent calendar?
This time, anyone wishing to comment on any item on the consent calendar with the exception of CC8, please press star 9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. You are limited to 3 minutes. Please press star 9 at this time if you wish to comment on consent calendar. Caller with the last 47232. Please state your name.
Fran Sarasaris, I think I'm on the right agenda now. That's CC 12 I want to speak on. The interfund loan agreement. I want to know what's the purpose of this loan for $342,280.43. The 43 cents kills me. It gets to me. Anyway, why is it being taken out? Why is it being taken out of our low and moderate income assets fund and is going to the general fund? I thought the general fund was in itself was pretty well profitable and had money in there. So why? What are we using this money for, and why? If I can get an answer, I'm not sure if I can.
I don't mind. Jason, can you address that?
Yeah, Shannon will answer the question.
Yes, Fran, I'm happy to answer that. This is a fairly routine loan that is going from one administrative fund, the Low Income Housing Fund, to another administrative fund as the general fund. It will be made whole and paid in full, along with interest charged at the rate that it would have accrued had it just remained in the Low and Moderate Income Housing Fund. And it's a function of several of the administrative changes and organizational changes we've had of late related to the housing department. So it's gone through a couple of different departments, and we are just kind of doing some adjustments here as we go into the new mid-year and the new fiscal year.
Oh, it's going to go. It's all right. Administrative funds, but through the health in the health department, right? Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
God bless everybody. I haven't finished talking to them. I'll be talking to you soon again this evening. Thank you.
At this time, if anyone else wishes to speak on the consent calendar, please press star 9. No other speakers at this time.
Motion to approve the consent calendar as currently comprised, pulling CC8.
There's a second.
I
I'll
second that.
second that. Ken Min.
Let's vote. Call the roll, please.
City Council Member Doris,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Christ,
Yes.
Mayor Paris.
Yes, passes unanimously. Okay, moving on to public hearing item 1. The public hearing is now open.
Mayor Paris, I think I probably have to recuse myself because of my restaurant right next to it.
Yep, that's usually
That is correct.
a hint.
So
It would be appropriate to turn off your video and mute your line.
thank you. Goodbye.
Bye, Raj. Okay, we'll hear a staff report from Larissa De La Cruz, Senior Manager, Community Development.
Good evening, Mayor Paris and members of the City Council. First and foremost, I'd like to wish everybody a happy holiday, a Merry Christmas, and that everybody stays safe throughout the holidays. Having said that, I will share my screen now. Okay. The item before you this evening is an appeal to conditional use permit 20-01. This project is a request to construct a gas station and mini mart along with a type 20 off-sale beer and wine license at the northeast corner of 20th Street West and Avenue J. The Planning Commission heard this request at their September meeting and denied the conditional use permit due to an overconcentration of these types of uses in the nearby area. The site is currently developed with a 9,044 square foot commercial building built in 1979. The proposed project would replace this building that is no longer being utilized to its full potential This building could not be adapted for the proposed use or any other redevelopment, nor would it meet today's design standards and city requirements either. The proposed project would replace the existing commercial building with a new 2,400 square foot 7-Eleven with all new parking, landscaping, fuel pumps, and a design that is compliant with the city's design guidelines. The applicant is also aware of the city's vision to plan for hydrogen, and they have agreed to identify a possible future location, and they are also amenable to having these discussions related to this item with staff in the future. The proposed 7-Eleven would be designed with a Spanish style of architecture and have 360-degree architecture. The site would also include new landscaping around the perimeter, along each elevation, along the corners, and they would provide a total landscaping that is beyond the minimum requirements of our municipal code. This is a top view of the site at the full build out and what it would look like. Staff has also worked with the applicant to make further refinements to the design since it was submitted. The following slides are additional views that would give you an idea of the context and the surroundings at the street level. The upper view is from 20th Street West, and the lower view is from Avenue J. You could see in the background how this building would fit into its surroundings. You're able to see the existing buildings along the other side of Avenue 20th, as well as some of the buildings that are along Avenue J. With respect to distance requirements, there are 3 requirements that need to be met. One is that these types of establishments are not within 300 feet from any residential use, within 500 feet from another establishment with alcohol, and within 1,000 feet from schools. While this is a requirement, the code does allow for waivers if findings can be made. In this case, the findings were supported in that the proposed use is not within 300 feet from any residence. There are 2 active alcohol licenses. One is for Circle K to the west and one for Walgreens to the south. However, that particular store is closed. Lastly, there are no schools within the distances mentioned. Staff believes that the applicant has met all of the requirements of the code as well as the design guidelines. And with that, staff recommends that the City Council take action as listed in your staff report. That completes staff presentation. And the applicant is also available if the council has any further questions. Thank you.
Any questions? Any comments? Can you pull down the presentation, please? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Are there any speakers on this?
Yes, good evening, Honorable Mayor and esteemed members of the City Council. My name is Adon Madrid. I am with ASI Development. Our offices are located at 5932 Bolsa Avenue, Suite 107 in the city of Huntington Beach. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to speak. I am here on behalf of the applicant 7-Eleven. May I share my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I think we're there. Are we there?
Yes, you got it.
Okay, all right, thank you. I would just like to take a few minutes here to highlight a few items for the City Council's consideration. As indicated by staff, this project is not located within 300 feet of any religious assemblies, nor is it within 300 feet of any daycare centers or residential land uses. It is also not located within 1,000 feet of a public or private K through 12 school, nor are there any residential uses within close proximity to our project site. This project will not create a detrimental overconcentration of off-sale establishments and like uses in the area. Rather, it will give residents and commuters an alternative location to purchase fuel, convenience products, and beer and wine. See here, I need to just move my mouse here. You can see here that there are 6 existing active off-sale licenses within the census tract. However, they are all located along the outer perimeter of the census tract and far from our project site. The radius map that staff shared earlier also illustrates that there is only one existing active off-sale establishment within a 1,000-foot radius of the site, and it belongs to the gas station located across the street. And of course, there's also the license held by Walgreens, which is now closed and no longer in business. The sale of beer and wine at 7-Eleven convenience stores is offered to its customers for convenience purposes. The shelf space set aside for the display of alcohol at this particular store will be less than 4%. What does that really look like? Well, it's limited to one cooler door and one end cap, both of which are located as far as possible from the front entrance to the store. Without it, the project simply will not pencil. The sale of beer and wine is essential to the viability of the store. I believe that the council has heard similar statements from other applicants. It would also place 7-Eleven in an unfair competitive disadvantage with Circle K located across the street, as well with any other newer gas stations in the vicinity that sell beer and wine. This is a nice development. We've put a lot of effort into working with staff to make this the best that it could possibly be and to embody excellence in architectural design. This is a project that is proposed by a national A credit tenant that is willing to invest several $1 million to redevelop this commercial hard corner. The project fully complies with the city's development standards. The Sheriff's Department is not opposed to it. The city also has not received any correspondence or public testimony in opposition to the project, at least to our knowledge. In addition, staff has added several conditions of approval to mitigate any concerns with the off sale of beer and wine, to which 7-Eleven is in full agreement. This store will also be corporate ran in lieu of being franchised, which will help ensure there are no issues.
Mr. Madrid, that doesn't help your cause. We would prefer to have locally owned businesses. But I think the council knows everything they need to know, and we have time limits. But thank you for your presentation. I like the project. I love the design changes you made. I thought that was exactly what we're looking for with these types of facilities. You minimized your signage, you minimized your lighting, but at the same time, you kept enough there so people know when they drive by that you're there. I think you've cooperated with staff extremely well. I don't know what the rest of the council thinks, but if anybody deserves a waiver, I think this is an example of what we're looking for in order to achieve a waiver. Do we have any speaker cards on it?
Mr. Mayor, the owner of the property, Mr. Irving.
Mr. Madrid.
Yes.
In the legal profession, we have a saying: when it's going your way. Do I need to say more?
No.
Okay. No speaker.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, but I want to say that the Planning Commission did a wonderful job reviewing this, and by no means this motion is meant to demean them in any way. But I'll make a motion that we adopt resolution number 2061.
I'll second that as well, but we also keep in mind too, I don't have so much heartache now at that location, given that we had a outlet across the street selling alcohol. And then keep in mind too, the Sizzler's now closed and up for sale. And they sold alcohol as well too. So we lost 2, gained 1. Great looking property.
You know, thank you, Ken. I think we should revisit the direction we've given the planning commission. I think it's too rigid the way it is now. I think the planning commission is doing a superb job in following our direction as far as the policies of the city, but it could be, I think we have to modify it as experience has given us more information to work with. If we could call the roll.
Mr. Mayor, we need to ask for public comment. We've had comment from the applicant, but we have not offered the opportunity for the public to speak during this public hearing.
I thought we did. I'm sorry. Is there any further public comment?
Yeah, I do have one caller with the last 46592 that wishes to speak on this item. If you could state your name.
Hi, good evening. Yes, good evening. My name is Maribel Bricenio, and I would like to make a comment on this item. I also spoke at the last public hearing, and I'll be very frank and honest. I work in the field of alcohol and other drugs, and I am very disappointed to hear that you are considering, actually pretty much sounds like you've approved the CUP with not taking so much into account everything that was mentioned at the last meeting, at the last public hearing. There were other speakers there, and there were a lot of concerns that were also brought up by your council members, which I was very happy to hear. But at this public hearing, I'm very disappointed to hear how quickly some individuals have forgotten about the lives that could be saved, because alcohol is not essential. In contrast to what that last speaker just mentioned, the convenience store being there does not provide a need or a much more convenience for alcohol for the community. And although I am, happy that the city of Lancaster is moving forward with being business friendly and trying to redevelop the city, and I am in much agreement that the revenue is needed in all cities. However, I don't think that this is the way to go by waiving a lot of the codes that you all put in place to protect the health of the public. We are dealing with a lot of alcoholism increase, and I don't think that saturating a city with more alcohol is going to be the best thing for the city. I mentioned a lot of comments last meeting. In this meeting, I'm going to just keep it at this, at this short statement, but I would like for you to please reconsider the waiving of all of these conditional use permits applicants that come in, because that's only going to bring more and more alcohol into the city, and it's not a necessity and it is not essential. Thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers?
If anyone else wishes to comment on PH1, please press *9 at this time.
While we wait on that, I will note that all of the comments and activities with regard to the hearing at the Planning Commission is part of the record before you as council members. So that is part of your consideration, of course.
Okay. Caller with the last 47946. Please state your name. Caller with the last 47946.
Move on to the next one.
Hello.
Yes, please state your
Good
name.
evening. David Aber.
You may proceed.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I think that this project should not be allowed to sell alcohol because I heard from the presentation that it's only 4% of what they're making, so there's no need to add more alcohol sale place. So the church just down the street from the proposed project. It may not be 100 yards away, but it's no more than 120 yards away, and I just think this isn't something that we need more of. Thank you for your time, council members.
No other speakers at this time, Mayor Paris.
Thank you. I've got to adjust my screen. I'm sorry. There we go.
With no other speakers, it would be appropriate to close the public hearing, Mr. Mayor.
Let's close the public hearing, and could you call the roll for the vote?
I have one question. I do have one question.
Okay.
And this is to, I guess, Mr. Madrid. Was there any opposition from the church down the street, even though they're outside of the 1,000 feet? Did you guys contact with them at all, or?
Thank you for the question, Councilman Doris. There was no opposition from the church that's located north of our site.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Okay, let's call the roll.
City Council Member Doris,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Christ. Vice Mayor Christ,
Vice Mayor Chris, you're muted.
Yes.
Mayor Paris.
Yes, it passes unanimously.
Thank you.
You know, I would like to comment. I mean, I don't think it's any secret that I'm not thrilled with alcohol outlets. And I think what the speaker said is correct. But you know, the fact of the matter is in order for us to do this job effectively, we have to balance interests. And I've been persuaded that without beer and wine at those types of locations, they can't compete. And we need those types of locations in certain areas. So, you know, that's where the balancing comes into play. I wish there was an alternative, but I have yet to see it. And that's my thinking on that. Anybody else?
Mayor, may I add something as well too? Obviously, the two businesses that did sell alcohol that are now closed, if maybe at some point in time there was a need to go back and take a look at our ordinance, you have to realize we've lost two locations. So if we were keeping score in the city, we're still down by one. In both of those, if businesses were to be reestablished at those other two locations, they need to go through the normal process anyway. So that's where I think we need a little more flexibility in the alcohol ordinance.
Anyone else?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we should also talk about the freeway changes and the on-ramp changes that we're making at, would be about 24th and J. So we do need fueling stations along that corridor because of that. So we're making a major change to the on-ramp on 20th. So we need to adjust for that.
Are we adjusting by making alcohol available?
It has nothing to do with alcohol. I agree with Mr. Mann's statement that, you know, we're still a negative on that. This is not like 20th and K where there were 7. There's 2 here and one of them's out of business. So it's not an oversaturation. Planning Commission did their job and sent it to us, and, you know, we can look for those mitigating factors, and it's best use for the city.
I just couldn't resist, Martin. Thank you. Okay. Did we vote? I forget. We voted, right?
Yes, you did.
Good. Okay. Moving on. New business item 1, the official canvass and certification of the November 3rd general election.
Thank you, Mayor. There's 2 items here, and new business 1, new business 2. We'll do the staff report for both. And then Andrea is going to do part of the staff report, and then George is going to finish it up. But this is the official canvassing of the election for Measure LC and the beginning of a long process as it relates to how we decide to expend these funds, the administrative functions as it relates to the expense of these funds, and then the public process associated with the expense of these funds. Obviously, as city staff, on behalf of city staff, we're very obviously thankful that the community has placed the trust in us as it relates to how we expend these funds and the willingness to take these additional funds. At the same token, all of us as city staff understand the responsibility that comes with and the stewardship that comes with. So this is the beginning of a long process that we take very seriously, and that we will, as we move forward, make sure that it's very transparent and public as it relates to how these funds are expended, as well as to make sure that the impact in the community is noticeable. And as a result of their generosity, we can guarantee that the outcome of these funds will be noticeable in our community. With that, I'll turn it over to Andrea to talk about the election, and then George will talk about the process from a budgeting standpoint and administrative standpoint.
Okay, thank you, Jason. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm before you this evening to present the election results regarding Measure LC from the general election held on November 3rd. To vote on a measure to establish a 3/4 sales tax. The County of Los Angeles rendered full services to the city in connection with the November 3rd election. Thus, the ballots were counted and results were provided by the LA County Registrar Recorder. The total number of ballots cast was 64,844. The results are as follows. A total of yes votes equal 32,445. A total of no votes equal 26,695. Measure B did pass with 54.86% of the total vote. I can answer any questions you all may have at this time.
Any questions? Do we have any speakers?
I think, George, you're up.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, George. I didn't mean to run over you.
No, I mean, they are listed as separate items, so I do understand what was going on. So, but good evening, Mr. Mayor and City Council. Before you tonight, as a follow-up to reading the results, we actually, let me just share my screen for a second. We have 2 items that are before you tonight to approve our relationship with the state of California Department of Tax and Revenue, or Tax and Fee Administration, who will be the state organization that will actually collect and administer the tax on our behalf. Before you is a quick timeline without regurgitating a lot of history there. Council took action in July, election took place in November. Just on December 3rd, the results were certified. Tonight before you are the 2 agreements. One agreement is for the preparation and the administration in which the state will work with all the local businesses and make sure that they are aware of the new tax that will be charged effectively next year. And then the second agreement is for the state administration on an ongoing basis that will terminate at the termination of the tax, which at this time has no termination date. So this agreement is going to be in place as long as we continue to levy the tax. All of these signed agreements are due to the state on January 4th for an April 1st implementation of the tax. So for the local businesses, beginning April 1st is when you'll see the extra 3/4 cent tax on your required levy and your submittals to the state. And then we expect to start receiving allocations to the city beginning in May and then June, and then we'll receive the last payment for this year probably in the July timeframe. We're only going to include 1/4's worth of tax in this current fiscal year. The expectation is to be around $3 million. That's still to be determined based on how long it takes the businesses to to acclimate to the new assessment. And it's kind of hard given COVID what the expectations are going to be as far as what we expect to receive. It's been previously estimated to be about a $12.8 million annual amount, which we have estimated the 3 months to be the $3 million, which we expect to receive in the current year. At the January and or early February council meeting, you will see presented to you a mid-year budget amendment, amending the current year budget to reflect the additional $3 million. In that same time, I expect that the citizen committee will be formed, and we'll be able to get some direction as to how to address the spending of that money according to the council's direction, as well as the citizens committee. So that concludes my presentation, unless you have any other questions.
And Mayor and Council, just one more thing. George did mention the Citizen Committee. One aspect of the ballot measure was the formation by ordinance, a commission or a committee to recommend the expenditure of these funds. The staff is prepared and ready to accept those applications and begin that process as long as you are ready to request those applications from those citizens. So with that, we'll turn it over to answer any questions you may have.
Are there any questions? Are there any comments? Do we have any community members wanting to speak?
I do have a comment. I have one. I'd like to ask a question. Is if this COVID continues to persist, do we have flexibility on whether or not we need to, we can push back the new tax date, or is that something that we can discuss if our businesses or our people are pressed because of it?
I think the city attorney can answer that, but I don't believe so. I think.
No,
okay.
Unfortunately, that is not an option before us.
Okay.
Are there any speakers, Andrea?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on NB1 or NB2, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment. Caller with the last 47232, please state your name. Caller with the last 47232, please state your name.
Fran Sarasaris. Good afternoon again. Can you hear me? Hope I'm not messing this thing up again.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to speak on this, that everything has been said, but what my main train of thought is, I would very much like to be considered to be on this committee. As you know, I'm very aware of what's going on in the community, the problems and the needs, and I think I would be very viable and helpful in suggesting or adding to or deleting.
Fran?
Yes.
We're going to be taking applications and we're going to go through an interviewing process, but I don't think it's appropriate to do that now.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine. That's what I wanted to make sure I can still have a chance. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you.
No other callers at this time.
Thank you. Okay, just so we're clear on this, I want people who would like to serve on this committee to go to the website and do whatever you got to do to get your names in front. After we get the level of interest, we will then decide on, or I guess I will decide on how many people to put on the committee. I will then make the recommendations to the council to approve those people, and the council will have the option of approving or not approving. Over a period of 10 years, this is significant. I mean, this is huge, what is available to the city. And so I want a lot of input as to how best to utilize this money. We obviously want to fix the roads and catch up on things that we need to catch up on. But then there is going to be money to decide on the direction we want to take the city. And And that's what I'm hoping that we will utilize these funds for. What I'm not wanting to do is to use it as a Christmas fund where, you know, we start divvying it up amongst various entities. I want it to improve the welfare of the people who live in this city in a demonstrable way. So if you'd like to participate in that decision-making process, I encourage you to apply. And with that, let's vote.
I'll make the motion that we approve NB1, which is resolution 20-63, and NB2.
Second that.
City Council Member Doris,
Unmute, Daryl.
Yeah, yes, sorry.
Molly,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris,
Yes.
Mayor Paris.
Yes, passes unanimously. Okay, let's go to new business item 2. Somebody, George, did you already do that? Did we do them together?
Yeah, you voted new business 1 and new business 2 just now.
Okay, so is that vote adequate?
Yes, they're
Yes,
on the
Ms.
same
Mayor.
topic. So the motion was for both NB1 and NB2, and that is adequate.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now we're going to hear about the restaurant rescue package, which people have been working on very hard in the staff and in the community. I'm excited about this. I think it's novel. I think it's an effort to not only rescue the restaurants, but also to help the people in the city and to do it quickly. But I'll reserve my comments until after the presentation. And Shannon, you have done a magnificent job on this. We are proud to have you as part of this team. You have done incredible work. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. And it was certainly a team effort. And thanks to Sydney Aceta from my team, as well as finance, for helping us put this together. So thank you for the opportunity to present the restaurant rescue package this evening. This all stemmed from a meeting last week that was led by Vice Mayor Christ and Mayor Paris, a town hall meeting for the restaurants, wherein they described all of the various needs that they have. A lot of this was in response to LA County Public Health's shutdown of outdoor dining, which of course their needs have been made even more dire by the fact that the state has now shut down all of Southern California as a region. So in response to this, we put together this package that's before you tonight. It totals $850,000 in assistance to local restaurants. This recognizes that restaurants are a key part of our local culture, of our local quality of life, and these are independently owned small businesses that are one of a kind. And if they do close their doors, you can't get those back. They're irreplaceable. So we want to make sure we're supporting them and the jobs that they provide and the investment in our local economy. So there are several components to the restaurant package. The first of these is the Takeout and Chill gift card program. So this piggybacks onto the communications campaign that has been going since March, encouraging people to exercise the ability to take out food even in spite of the public health restrictions. So $500,000 of the allocation will go towards that. And those will be handed out in the form of gift cards at various city events. So things like our food distribution events and our drive-through events, all socially distanced and safe, of course, but this will give people the opportunity to receive those. So this will help people not only who may be suffering themselves from the pandemic and getting $20 in their pocket, but it'll also ensure that that money goes straight back into investment in our local businesses. Those who enroll to participate in the Takeout and Chill gift card program and to accept these gift cards will receive grants that will range from $500 to $1,500, kind of as a startup investment fund. We recognize that they will have to purchase ingredients and have staffing that they might not have otherwise done in order to accept these gift cards. So that will help offset those costs. They will also receive rebates on their Lancaster Choice Energy charges for the months of December and January, which are the months that these will be valid. So the gift cards will continue being accepted through February 1st. In addition to that, we'll be providing membership fees for the California Restaurant Association for each of the participating restaurants. And that is the organization that is leading the fight in court right now to ensure that restaurants can remain open to the maximum extent possible while still ensuring public safety. So there was actually a victory in court today on behalf of the Restaurant Association, wherein the judge decided that LA County is going to need to perform an analysis and demonstrate both the link between outdoor dining and the COVID transmission, as well as consider the economic and social impacts of closing these restaurants if in fact they want to continue it following the state shutdown. So with all of this, Destination Lancaster will be supporting these efforts. They have agreed to contribute $50,000 in addition to the city's $500,000 in gift cards. Those will be distributed by Destination Lancaster to their member hotels, and those hotels can distribute them to guests and employees as they see fit. In addition to these items, we will be supporting Antelope Valley Restaurant Week. We have an emerging local restaurant association who is putting that event together. So we will support it both in terms of sponsorship and promotion with all of our in-kind avenues through the communications division. And we will also be connecting people who may need it with legal assistance to help them with leases in case their landlords are violating the eviction moratorium or otherwise making life difficult against the rules related to the pandemic. So in terms of eligibility, we're looking to focus on small local businesses. So with that, it'll be small locally owned restaurants, wineries, and breweries, of course, located in the city limits. They must have been in business before the initial shutdown orders were in place as of March 17th of this year. Annual revenues cannot exceed $3.5 million, and fast food and food trucks will not be eligible since they're obviously not impacted by the outdoor dining and indoor dining restrictions in the same way as traditional restaurants are. Additionally, of course, agents of the city will not be eligible for assistance under the program. So with that, we recommend approval of the program and we look forward to assisting our restaurants.
Thank you. This is a very difficult problem. I mean, very difficult program to administer. It's extraordinary to me that it was even conceived, the idea. And it also I'm proud to be part of the group. And Marvin and Ken, you had the vision to develop this and make it happen. And we have a staff that can actually execute. I mean, we can come up with the wildest ideas. And the next thing you know, we have our own Lancaster Choice Energy. I mean, as an example, they achieve the impossible. And this is no exception of that. Again, Shannon, you're doing a wonderful job. Now, whenever you start giving away things, there's always going to be controversy. I get that. And there's always going to be people who think that they didn't get their share. And I get that too. We are going to do the best we can to make this an equitable distribution. But at the same time, we recognize that not everybody's going to get a card. A lot of people are going to get a card. I mean, a whole lot of people, but not everybody. The people that we are most interested in taking care of first are the people that are on the line. I mean, the grocery clerks, the people that have a lot of public contact during this crisis, the healthcare workers, the people at the hospital, people who are risking their life every single day. They're first. That's not even up for debate. They're first. First responders, they're first. They're the ones who have risked their lives. After that, we are going to pull out people in the community that we think have the best opportunity to distribute this in the manner that we need them distributed. Because how it works is this is an indication of the complexity that's involved here. If we distribute them all tonight, it's going to collapse. I mean, the restaurants aren't going to be able to serve the food for it. They'll run out and immediately. So we have to stretch it out. The problem with stretching it out, and I recognize it, is that allows controversy to build. I get that. I think everybody gets the fact that we're not afraid to deal with controversial issues, and we're not afraid to deal with people who disagree with us. And it's not to say that they're wrong. I don't know that I'm right all the time, I don't know that Marvin's right all the time. Of course, he's not as right as often as I am, but that was a joke, Marvin.
That's a pretty good one.
Good comeback. But anyway, that's what this is. I get that there could be some issues. Nonetheless, I think this is a great thing. I think it's Christmas time. I think that we're able to give people a gift over the holidays, and it's a significant, when you look at the whole package, it is a significant package. It's a lot of money, and I'm not aware of any other city doing this sort of thing. I do want to compliment Supervisor Barger. She created a program where restaurants can get grants to stay alive, and it's on a first come, first served basis. And again, Shannon organized the restaurants and submitted their applications and crashed the system. But hopefully we will preserve our order of first come, first serve, but we'll see how that works. I see a lot of people coming together, working really hard and easing the burden as best we can. And I appreciate those efforts. Any comments before we proceed?
Mayor, probably Shannon might know this best. There's a churn on that money going into the community. My suspicion it's probably 2 to 3 times that amount of money that we're setting aside for this program. So ultimately, if it's turned 2 to 3 times, we're looking at close to $2 million into the community.
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
I do, Rex. We should probably talk about the sanitation district. We're going to ask them to help the restaurants. The sanitation district has a huge amount of reserves. We're going to ask them at our next meeting, which was called specifically for this, to make sure that they can have some type of rebate, which could end up into the thousands of dollars. Some of the people, it could range up to $25,000. So it would be very significant for the restaurants, but it's affordable through the sanitation. And I think the way we design this is like, not just one person is hurting, we're all hurting, but take those people that aren't hurting. Mr. Mann helped us with Destination Lancaster. So really appreciate that. Everyone has pitched in to help, and I just think this is a great project. So thank you. Thank you, Shannon.
One of the things that I am so amazed at in this city, Rex, you hit on it so strong. We are around so many big brain people. And what I like about it is it's not actually, I think giving away is kind of the wrong word, because we tend to make this a circle. Similar to what we did with the car, what you did, Vice Mayor, with the car dealerships. Car dealerships, $500 gift cards that went to the stores. The sales tax that was spent on the stores came back to the city. The people were blessed to have discounts at the car dealerships. It's a circular. It's a cyclical cycle of everybody just being blessed by creating business. And this is the same thing. And it's just amazing how we're able to, in a sense, give, but it's creating a cyclical circle of business. Everybody's being blessed by this. And so I think that it would be a better term to say that everyone's eating by what we're creating. We're creating taxes, we're creating revenue, we're creating the restaurant owners not to go belly up and not to go bankrupt. We're creating business, and it's still blessing everyone. It's not like Ken just put it so eloquently. It's going to create 3 times what we're putting out there. So I'm just amazed to be a part of such big brain people. And Shannon, I wish you worked for my church, but this is amazing what the staff does and how you guys just put these types of ideas together along with our vice mayor and Ken, Destination LA. It's just amazing what we do. So glad to be a part of it.
Thank you. Anyone else? Do we have any speaker cards?
At this time, anyone wishing to come in on NB3, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment on NB3. No comments at this time.
Thank you. That amazes me. Oh, well, that's good. You know, I kind of have to anticipate comments that'll come tomorrow. And, you know, the obvious one is why restaurants and why not some other business? And the primary reason for that, in my mind, maybe not the council's mind, is that in order to attract the people that we would like to see come in and move into Lancaster and the way we want the city to evolve, it's essential we have restaurants. And it's essential that we have a diverse selection of restaurants. And we also need to be a community that allows people to rise up by starting businesses and at least taking a shot at their own business. And that's the reason at this point we're focusing on the restaurants. It's probably one of the last places a person can be an entrepreneur because of, you know, the way the Walmarts of the world have run everybody else out. And I don't want to lose it. And I know Marvin and Ken and Raj and Daryl do not want to lose it. And so that's why we're making a concerted effort here. With that, does somebody want to make the motion?
I'll move that we approve NB3 1, 2, and 3.
Is there a second?
I second that.
City Clerk, could you call the roll?
Councilmember Doris,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Mann,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris,
Yes.
Mayor Paris.
I guess I don't need my notes to vote, huh? Yes. Passes unanimously. Moving on to the emergency declaration, and we'll hear a staff report from Jason Cottle, City Manager.
Yes, sir. The next item on the agenda is a placeholder that we've put on there. I know that every meeting we've been talking about COVID. Allison came up with the brilliant ideas. Why don't we agendize it? That way we can make decisions and have a deeper conversation rather than just referring to staff. So that is this item. There's also 2 other items under the emergency declaration. One is the continuance of the emergency that is required regularly under the law to continue the emergency, which we recommend. And the other is a required ordinance for requiring face masks. So with that, I'm going to start with Dr. Trong, who I know puts together a presentation every week. We appreciate that. And I know Dr. Stock and Tiffany are here who have been working diligently out there in the field right now. And, you know, some of us sit back in our homes and try not to stay sick. These guys have to get out and do it every day and do it every day. So we appreciate them, and they'll give you an update on what's going on. And there's a lot changed since last week, that's for sure.
Hi, this is Jonathan. Can I start the share screen? I had the usual slides, but updated. Is that okay?
Of course.
Thank you. Okay. So just I'll go quickly through the world, but basically, if you see this slide, the United States now remains the number 1 country in terms of daily cases and in terms of the surge. If you look at the map to the right, United States is purple, and purple is the highest weekly cases per capita. And if you go to Europe, there's some countries in Europe like Italy, um, Sweden. Looks like Kazakhstan is also coming as a big country that's having a lot of cases. Here in the United States, California last week was #2. Texas was #1, but this week, yesterday, California has surged to the #1 case in terms of total new cases, and our deaths are also correspondingly high. If you remember these maps, it used to be just like the middle part of the United States. Currently, it's basically the middle and most of LA, most of Southern California. This slide shows nationally what's happening in terms of new reported cases at the top graph. Deaths also following reported cases. And of course, you see the hospitalized COVID patients just skyrocketing nationally. Southern California, California in general, these are the cases that's reported for today, total cases, total deaths, and number of tests. But if you can see here, this little blue light keeps telling us that every day there's an increase over the previous day. And most of California counties are in the purple, the highest widespread in terms of COVID numbers and infections. Going down to the county level, this morning, the website reported 8,000 new cases with 457,000 total year to date. There's a little bit of a drop in testing, but if you look at testing positivity rate, continues to skyrocket. The 7-day rate is above 10%. If you recall last month, we were nearly 3.54%. So it's almost, it's more than doubled in terms of positivity. This panel talks about a number of deaths. There's a little bit of a drop, which is helpful, but we worry that this is just a lag. The death rate remains even higher than last week. Last week was 70, this week 72. Last month, we were in the 60 and the 50 range. The burden falls on Hispanic and Latino, having the highest rates ethnicity of death, and the poverty level, 30 to 100% area of poverty has the highest mortality. And this slide just very obvious, hospitalization continues to climb day by day, week by week. You've seen this slide before. The light blue is the daily cases, the dark blue is deaths. And if you look at in July, first there's a spike in daily cases, then the death lags. So here we see this huge spike. We worry that the death will also be similar going forward in the next 1 to 2 weeks. This map shows us where we are in terms of comparison to other areas of LA County. We are in this range, which is at the middle range here. We're doing not as well as Santa Clarita, but other parts of San Fernando Valley very similar to us. And then deeper into LA, it's darker and more cases and more infections. Here, this is a statewide graph. As you can see here, light blue is suspect cases, dark blue is confirmed, and basically this is a very steep climb in terms of number of cases. Compare that to the previous slope. This is a huge, a lot of admissions in a short amount of time. Same here. This is the ICU number. Fortunately, ICU is still manageable, but we're not sure how long this will last. Going over to this side, these are numbers for today, Antelope Valley Hospital and Palmdale. As you can see, positive patients has climbed 97 this morning. Dr. Stock reported 103 earlier this afternoon. And basically it's a lot higher than last week. Our ICU numbers are high, our COVID ventilators are high. We still have some ventilators on standby, and I think we should do okay. Both hospitals have disposable ventilators that gives us some capacity going forward. This is the from the website, LA County website, comparing our adjusted case rate. Basically, this is adjusted for age and population per 100,000. And our numbers are higher, 4759 higher than the LA County, but our deaths are more favorable. As you can see, the numbers here. Our neighbor to the south in Palmdale, higher adjusted cases and higher adjusted death rates. So we're a little bit ahead, but I don't know how long that will last. This is just comparing these two rows are the same rows as in the previous slide, but we look at other areas like Acton. Santa Clarita is doing relatively well with lower adjusted case rates and lower adjusted deaths. Mission Hill is really kind of scary, very high rates and very high deaths. Bel Air is doing very well, very low rates and no deaths. So based on the previous slide, having a high poverty works against you. Having high Latino is also, you carry that burden of higher rates of death. Just the next few slides, basically the CDC is very concerned about this huge spike. They've put it together, they published their recommendation for strategies to address this huge surge in community transmission. And basically it goes back to the 3 W's. So the 3 W's, wash your hands, wear your mask, and watch your 6-foot social distancing. So the 3 W's still applies. The table basically, universal face mask, what we can do individually, what we can do as a community. We have policies, directives mandating face mask, even in indoor settings. Physical distancing, again, you can consider barriers to basically have people promote adherence, avoid non-essential indoor spaces, crowded outdoor settings, promote flexible work sites, increase testing and diagnosis. This is something that it's a struggle everywhere, increasing testing, and then an investigation, prompt investigation, contact tracing, that's also a struggle. But if we get these two things going, we could probably benefit more. Other recommendations, safeguard the persons most at risk, protect people at risk by identifying populations and outreaching to them, protecting them, protect essential health workers, postpone as much travel as you can during this time. Increased ventilation will also reduce the propensity to transmit, and basically the vaccine should also help, but it's only one of the 9 or 10 recommendations by authorities. And these recommendations don't just come out of the blue. These are all evidence-based, looking at outbreaks, studying them, looking at outbreaks in the United States and throughout the world, and coming up with recommendations. And that ends the slides. And I'll pause for questions.
Okay, let's kill the slide. Probably a bad choice of words. Are there any questions of the COVID team? That's Tiffany Tanner, Larry Stock, and Jonathan Trong. I'll even open it to the public if you have any questions.
I do just want to make a comment really quickly, if that's okay.
Sure.
Dr. Trong had mentioned that testing everywhere is becoming more and more difficult to come by, and City of Lancaster is doing everything that we can to get more testing together. And so that is an optimistic thing. I'm looking very much forward to a time when people can discover that they need a test and get a test within a couple of hours.
Mayor, I'd like to make a comment as well. So if you notice on Jonathan's slides, when he said, showed the number of COVIDs at Antelope Valley, more than half of our patients that are COVIDs are either in the intensive care unit or one level below the intensive care unit, meaning they're very sick, and they're either on a ventilator or they could go on a ventilator in the future, and that's why they're being watched so carefully. So the acuity is quite high, and we're in the steep part of the curve right now. This is not, we haven't gotten to the top yet. So we don't know where that top ends. Depends on people, how they behaved a few weeks ago, how they behave today, and how they behave in the next few weeks. So, what we do matters, what we did matters, and we're doing our best, but we are stretching our hospital resources quite a bit right now.
Larry, you look exhausted.
I'm feeling, this is of all the things I've done in 30 years, this is a major challenge. I'm not going to lie about that. This is I am being hyper vigilant about this. I'm focused on this every hour I'm awake, and I'm concerned for our community. I would be concerned if people are not taking this seriously. If you were in the hospital, you'd be concerned as well. So please do what you can to protect yourself and your family, and we'll continue doing our work. Now, the nurses and doctors and all the other people at the hospital working, the administrators are working very hard to help this community.
Okay, are there any public questions in regards to the pandemic?
At this time, if anyone wishes to comment, please press *9. Caller with the last 47232. Caller with the last 47232.
Let's move to the next one.
Okay, this is Frances. I have a question for the doctors that's been puzzling me for a long time. I know that you mentioned, or it's always stated, that to stay at home and stay within your family. But my question is, if you're out working in public and you come home to your family, aren't you possibly bringing the COVID home? And it's kind of confusing me. How to, and you're saying, well, stay home. As long as you're within your family, you're okay. But how could they be okay if they're from the outside coming in and the diseases around them? I know with my kids, everything, in fact, Thanksgiving and Christmas, we're going to do it on Zoom. They won't even come to my house because they're working, because they don't want their clothes has the germs and their shoes and everything. So I'm kind of confused with that logic.
Jonathan, yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe I can answer that. A lot of our physicians and staff, we are exposed to COVID daily. We treat our patients. When we come home, many of us change our undress and change in the garage, and then we walk in and we clean ourselves in the shower, in the shower right next to the garage. So we do all that even before we come into contact with our family, just to protect our family. In my car, for example, none of my kids go into my car because I basically said that's a COVID car, but we do what we can. We are very cautious when we see our patients in the hospital, for sure. We gown up, we wear a shield, we wear gloves, and basically follow protocol because, yes, we are at risk for contracting the disease and for bringing it home to our families. So we have to use those precautions.
I want to add to what Jonathan said. In addition to that, if one or more of your family members have gone out and done things that put themselves at risk, for instance, they're at college and then they came home and all the people in the dorm have COVID, and now they've got COVID. Now they're coming home for Thanksgiving or Christmas, or they're out at work and they went to, for a beer after work and everyone didn't have masks on. Yes, they may have it and bring it home to the rest of the family, and then the whole family could get it. So you're absolutely right. So you need to know what every member of the family is doing. And if everyone's safe, then you're all safe. But if one person's not safe, then there's some risk there.
Okay. Can I suggest something at this point? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Because I noticed it hasn't been addressed. Some people don't think of it that way. They don't think of that they're bringing the COVID in their clothing, or they don't have that perception. So in my opinion, I think that maybe the public should be told somehow when you get home, make sure you change your clothes, you leave your clothes in the garage, take your shoes off, all these things, because there's a lot of people don't think that way. They just come from outside, they come inside, and they tramp all the germs from outside in. But I think if it was advertised a little bit more, it might help. That's just me thinking. Thank you very much.
Good point. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
No, not at this time.
Okay, good. Thank you. Well, not good, but okay. I don't know how to impress upon people that stuff you're hearing on Facebook and Twitter about this not being a serious life-threatening disease is just nonsense. And I get people have the right to be stupid, but when you spread that stupidity on Facebook and social media and people believe it, people die. Yeah, Raj was able to get this and be relatively okay. He's young, he's in good shape, and what they're finding is that a lot has to do with the amount of the virus you're exposed to, the amount of the viral load. That's why the masks, even if you do get it, you are less likely to have a serious episode. And Raj was extremely careful with his mask. And that's why Raj is not suffering a lot of ill effects of the disease. My closest friend is Paul Chappell. He's home in bed. He can barely breathe. The race is to keep him out of the hospital because your odds of dying go up when you, Dr. Trong, you might tell people what that vent does to you, what that ventilator does to you, and how long, if people stay on it for any length of time, the odds of them coming off goes down. I mean, I need people to recognize this is the most serious crisis this city has ever faced, if not the world has ever faced in our lifetimes. I also I've been reading a lot of books about epidemics, and I'm astonished how our reaction to this is not much different than the 10th century. 1,000 years ago, the way people responded is not much different than they're responding today. And we are better than that. We are smarter than that. We can do so much better. And I'm going to turn it over to you in a minute, Dr. Trong, but stay out of that mall. The state sends out an alert to everybody's cell phone about go home, and the mall is filled with cars. Stay out of that mall. We can get through this with minimal deaths, but I'm afraid we're not. I'm afraid we failed. 80 people have died in Lancaster so far. If we keep it under 150, we will have done something amazing. This thing is out of control. I don't know what else I can say or do, or what the doctors can say or do, or what Tiffany can say or do that is going to make people understand that. And Patty, you want to come on? Patty Garabay? Are you there, Patty? Did you leave the... You never know when I'm going to call on you.
What were you looking for, Rex?
Patty Garabay, I see she's here, but I needed to talk to her. In any event, let me tell you what we're going to do, because this council runs this city transparently, so you can see what we're doing. We are going to know by the end of the week just where people are congregating and how they're congregating. We've been waiting for the county to tell us, but they haven't been able to. We will know. We have the ability to do that. All we have to do is buy the information, and we're going to purchase it. But what we suspect is happening is that people are congregating in their homes because they're just so, at the end of the day, we're a herd animal. We have to be together. We have to be in groups. We have that need to do that. We just have to continue resisting that need for a few more months. And I understand how hard it is. But that death toll should tell you just how severe the consequences are if we don't. Patty, are we able to know how and where people are congregating, not for the purpose of going in and harassing people, but so that we know, so that we can tell you this is where we think it's coming from? Because there is no reason to believe it's coming from outdoor restaurants. That's just silly. There's no reason to believe it's coming from small groups outside who wear their mask. It has to be coming from indoors. And we will have that data for you in the next week or so. Is that correct, Patty, or am I talking out of my nose?
Hi, Mayor. Sorry, I was charging my earphones as you called on me. But we can absolutely look at, we have a lot of different data sets and data sources, so we can absolutely look at where people are congregating, report back to the council, and provide some of that information and figure out where people are, where those issues are happening.
Okay, thank you. We're going to try to do this based on real data and real science. I do want to say that since we have started looking into our own public health department, that Catherine Barger's office, and where's Donna? Donna, are you still with us?
I'm here.
I'm so proud of you. I was afraid
I'm still here.
You just left your computer on.
She supports you.
What is Anders' position?
He's her health deputy or health policy deputy. He's been meeting with you, correct?
Right. Does he also, is he one of the 5 that run the public health?
No, he's with Catherine's staff. He's
Okay.
Catherine's policy deputy.
All right. Catherine Barger's office has been just incredible in supporting us and helping us and developing the information we need to make intelligent decisions. And anything I've said about LA County Public Health was not meant to include her at all. And trust me, if I thought for 1 minute that she should have been included, I would have included her. That is not the case. She is, I don't know that she's even sleeping. She's working so hard on this.
It looks like Larry.
Yeah, look at Larry. I remember when Larry actually looked rather athletic and vibrant.
I just want to add to this conversation that when we're in the ER now, we cannot tell who actually has COVID and who doesn't, meaning based on symptoms. The prevalence has gone up in the community. And I don't think just because we know that probably more than half of the transmissions occur from people that have no symptoms at all. So if you think you're waiting to see if someone's coughing or looking sick for you to put your mask on or stay away from them, forget about it. That's how people are catching it. So there's somebody at the dinner party who looks fine, who actually has the virus, and he's going to tell you in about 2 or 3 days from now. And that's how you're going to find out to go get checked and get your whole family checked. And that's how it's spreading. So enough said, but the prevalence is high right now.
Thanks, Larry.
What we're telling people is assume everybody that you encounter outside your home is infected. And if your family members are having a lot of contact with those strangers, they're bringing it home to you.
And Rex, the county has starting the home test that people can order through the county website. So, if people are hesitant, you were talking earlier about additional test sites. People can go onto the county, and I have a link, but you can go onto the Public Health County website and order a home health test. It'll come to you in a couple of business days. And then it's a very simple process to register and get it shipped to you. And it's free now through mid-January. And then at that point, there'll be a need assessment if the county can still fund that for free. But people can go on the county website right now and order their own test. They have a number that they can't exceed each day, but this goes on starting now through, like I said, January 15th. And there's going to be a new mobile pop-up test site. We'll know the location of that to be announced next week. So those will be 2 additional testing opportunities.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah.
The reason that testing is so important is so that you have a family member that's contagious, and then they got to go to their room and you got to close the door and you got to be careful. And you have to start wearing your mask inside your own house. But that's what it's going to take. If anybody has any doubt about how bad this could be, talk to our assemblyman, Tom Lackey. He told me that I could talk about him. It's been months now. He still is struggling. He still has intense headaches. He's never had them before. He has a heart condition he never had before. It's not just about dying. It's about being sick for a very long time. And you can be in denial all you want. You can talk about conspiracies all you want. This virus does not care. It does not care your political affiliation. It does not care what color you are. It does not care who your parents are. It will get you if it can. And that's just the long and the short of it. And as to the rumors that the sheriff's department is not enforcing this, Captain, do you want to explain what the policy of the sheriff's department is?
Yeah,
I want everybody to understand something. We're making this a misdemeanor. The statute on a misdemeanor, I think, is 4 years. Might be just a year, but I think it's 4. We'll find out for certain. Allison, get busy, find out what it is. That means somebody takes a picture of you and can date it. You're subject to being prosecuted. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But if you're in one of those jobs that you are required to follow the law, you can get fired for this. Do not take this lightly. We are dead serious. I was so proud of this city that we had such a low death rate. We can't say that anymore. We can't. We failed in so many ways.
Mr. Mayor, it's 2 to 3 years.
What?
It's 2 to 3 years.
For 2 to 3 years, you're subject to criminal penalties. And more importantly, you're subject to your employer firing you for it. So, Marvin, have I said enough?
I think you have. I think that it's important that our 3 deputy mayors have gone through this for the last 6 months, 9 months, and they're the professionals. We have to rely on someone that is non-political, and they're on the front lines. All 3 of them have given us data. I was looking at it today. It is the rate of infection is 10 times what it was 30 days ago. So in the 1st of November, I was looking at the numbers. We were in the 30s. We're in the 300s right now as far as being affected. It's time to quit playing the political game of, you can't wear a mask because it's not, American. This is people's lives that we're affecting. We're affecting them. We need to do it. And it's important. I am basing my vote on what the 3 deputy mayors are telling me and how important it is. They're constantly telling us, the CDC is telling us, everyone's telling us we need to wear the mask. I am okay with it. I'm gonna wear the mask everywhere.
Mr. Mayor, Jocelyn Corbett has corrected me. Under our Lancaster Municipal Code, the misdemeanor statute of limitations is 1 year. Other misdemeanors have statutes up to 2 to 3 years.
So that cloud will hang over your head for 1 year. Nobody likes a cloud over their head. I don't. Todd, you want to go ahead and explain what the sheriff's department policy is?
Yeah, sure. Our posture has pretty much remained the same since the beginning. We do enforce the health order. We'll enforce this. All along, our goal has been to seek voluntary compliance, educate, even offer masks if we see people without them. We've been very successful with that. We have had a handful of people who have refused and have gotten cited behind it or arrested behind it. But the overwhelming majority of people have been very cooperative with us, and we'll maintain that way. And however this vote goes tonight, we will absolutely enforce it, and that will be our posture.
Thank you. I read it. I read in the paper about there was an incident in Palmdale where the department, they cited those people, didn't they?
Yeah, that was a Palmdale incident. I'm not real. I don't have a whole lot of information on it. It was some type of large party, and I want to say 150 people total were cited behind it, I believe, somewhere in that effect. But I don't have a whole lot of details on it.
So I just want people to understand we're serious as a heart attack. There's no more excuses. Okay.
Rex, can I add something? One of the most heartbreaking things that just happened to me. I have a member that's been with me for 19 years. He was in Palmdale Regional. And I tried everything I could to see this man before he passed. And they would not let me see him. His wife pleaded. They just felt like if I could go pray that maybe he would make it out with a miracle. I couldn't see him, and it was because of COVID. And his wife couldn't see him until after the fact. And, you know, I think I told you this earlier today. Our denomination of 6.5 million, mostly African Americans, of our 12 bishops that run our church, 5 of them have passed away from COVID. These are men with mega churches that was well respected. And we have been mourning in our church. We've lost something like 20 pastors. We've lost something like 25 bishops besides them. We've been decimated. I have no pastor friends that are my age and under that have passed away because of COVID. We got laws in restaurants now that say, or I shouldn't say laws, but there are rules in restaurants that certain restaurants you got to wear a sports jacket. There's certain restaurants that you can't come into not dressed a certain way. There's certain stores that tell you got to have shoes and shirts. You can't come in, they won't serve you unless you're dressed a certain. We're at the point now that this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer because I think I was explaining earlier. And Marvin and I just had a meeting and we both chuckled because we put our mask on. And while we trust each other and we know each other, we didn't take that risk. Marvin is an old man. He's double my age. And so I got to make sure that I don't injure him. It would hurt me if I was the cause, in all seriousness. It would really hurt my heart if contract tracing came back that because of my young children, I got in front of Marvin and caused Marvin to get sick. Cindy wouldn't forgive me for that. So we're at this point now that we got to move all the excuses and let's live. Let's get past this. We did it once before. We was proactive. We have to take the measures that we need in order to survive and to live. And if it's just that simple, let's be that simple. I'm just at that point right now. I've been married 23 years. There's never been a time that my family did not come together, my side and my in-laws. This was the first Thanksgiving that we did not come together. And while we was eating dinner, my kids said, "Dad, the food is great, but it just doesn't taste the same." And I said, "Son, If we can get through this Thanksgiving, it'll taste better next year. But what I don't want to be doing is planning a repast because somebody passed because we couldn't hold off for Thanksgiving. I'd rather us miss a meal at Thanksgiving than be planning a meal and a repast for a funeral. So that's all I got to say. I'm at the point now, we need to do what it takes to save lives.
Actually, Daryl, I would like to add something to what Daryl was saying. Actually, age, I don't, I'm a 45 years old, and after I'm going through this whole thing, I feel very weak. For every couple hours, I need to take a nap or like lay down. So I don't think the age is like it can hit any age, and it affects on every age. And I'm telling you, like I thought I was doing really good, but now I feel it every day. I don't have any symptoms. I still get a headache once in a while, and I still feel like weak. I cannot do any heavy stuff. So age doesn't really matter, I think, at this point. I think it gets everybody. And it's a serious, and it's a bad, and it's no good. And I was wearing a mask, and I was doing all those things. I don't know how I got it, but it's bad. So everybody, I urge everybody to please, at least we can do is just wear a mask. Or wash your hand, or take care of yourself. That's all I wanted to say.
Raj, thank you.
Totally agree. And just, I guess, in addition to, I do know where I got it, and I was wearing my mask properly, the right way, the whole time. But the person that I contracted it from wasn't, and I didn't speak up. So I just wanted to put it out there. If you are in the presence of somebody that's not wearing their mask, speak up, ask them to put it on. It's not an insult, it's not an affront to their humanity. We're living in pandemic times, and that's just, it is a common courtesy at this point. If somebody walked into a room where you were and didn't have pants on, you would probably ask them to put some on. So let's just treat it the same and ask, anybody that doesn't have their mask on, ask them to put it on for you.
What Tiffany's telling you is that if, and this was several months ago, we know a lot more now than we know then. But when that person walked near her without that mask, if she had said, stop, put your mask on, she wouldn't have suffered the last 3 months. And she still got it. I mean, right? I mean, it's different now, isn't it? And that's what it takes. Remember how we taught the kids about we don't tolerate bullies? Remember, speak up. It's like that. Anybody not wearing a mask is the quintessential bully at this point. I think I've said enough. Is there a motion? Or do I have to take public comment, or where are we?
Mayor, that was the first item on the report. The second item, there's 2 items to vote upon.
Okay.
The one item to vote upon is the extension of the emergency, which is the resolution, and then the ordinance itself, which is NB, I'm not sure the number.
ED3.
NB3. So, or E. Yeah.
ED3.
ED3.
Okay, I want to make some amendment to that. It says a cloth mask. It has to be a cloth mask is part way there, but what I've been wearing, the hospital mask because I can change them frequently. That works, right? Or does it?
Well, that is a cloth mask as well.
No,
that works.
I think this is paper.
Well, oh yeah, sorry.
To be clear, the staff recommendation in the agenda report says cloth face covering, but the code itself says face covering.
Okay,
With
great.
no cloth. So the staff report statement on the agenda was too specific. It should have just said face covering. So my apologies for that oversight, but the ordinance itself says face covering.
Okay, so listen,
But we're on ED2.
Those people that are wearing their bandanas, that doesn't work. You're not protecting anybody when you do that. You got to be reasonable. You got to be intelligent. Nobody's going to say anything, but at this point, we're trying to save each other. Okay, so are there any public comments?
On ED2.
Or can we do 2 and 3 at the same time?
2 and 3 should be done differently. Their resolution continuing a local emergency and an ordinance, those should be taken up separately. But we can take public comment at the same time on both.
Okay. Any public comment?
At this time, anyone wishing to come in on ED2 and ED3, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your calling number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. Please press *9 at this time if you wish to comment on ED2 or ED3.
And here I was expecting to get pilloried. Good. Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve ED2.
I'll second that. Ken Mann.
Let's vote. Call the roll.
City Councilmember Doris?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes. Passes unanimously. Is there a motion on ED3?
Motion to approve ED3.
Second that.
Call the roll, please.
City Councilmember Doris?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Mann?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Chris?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes. Passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on. I mean, I just now getting to the council agenda?
Correct.
Any public comments on the council agenda?
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on the council agenda? Please press
CA1 or
*9.
CA2?
CA1 and CA2. Please press *9 at this time. No comments for the council agenda.
Okay, thank you.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Why are we voting on the chair? I thought you appoint the chair.
That is correct. I do appoint the chair. I don't know. Sean, have we already swore you in and all?
I believe Sean has been sworn in.
Yep. That's a yes.
Okay.
And it is your prerogative to appoint the chair and the vice chair, Mr. Mayor.
Sean, I've never known you to be a loss for words. Oh, you're muted.
Oh, I believe the last appointment that I remember was the appointment of the commission, but I don't remember.
That's right, and that requires a vote of the council. But the chair and the vice chair, Lori, that's you too. I get to appoint, and so you're both. I'm appointing Sean as the chair and Lori as the vice chair. And you know, I do want to comment. What Sean did is I asked him to take a class on leadership out of Case Western. It was on Coursera.org. And he took it. And he actually thought I was crazy, but decided that no, perhaps I wasn't, that it was a good class. Is that right?
Half right, yeah. I never thought you were crazy, but it was a good class.
There's some others that might think he's crazy though, Sean.
Hey, at this point, Sean, people calling me crazy is a step up. But I want you to know how much I appreciated that and how much I'm going to ask more people to do that. I think that if we recognize that leadership is a skill, it is not a talent that we're born with, that it has a lot of finite, granular skill sets that we need to achieve. I know the council, we're always talking about different skill sets we develop to help lead this community. And, you know, you're obviously one of the younger people in the community, but you're going to be our age in a blink of an eye. And, you know, isn't that right, Lori? So I'm deeply appreciative that you took that you took that seriously and you devoted the hours it took to complete it. And I expect really good things out of you in this commission that actually improve the community. So with that, you're the new chair of the Social Equity Commission. Thank you. Okay. Congratulations. We would all applaud and stamp our feet, and streamers would be falling from the ceiling, but it's virtual. Okay. And you saw how well we did with the Christmas tree. No. We're still working on it. Thanks. Congratulations. Now, council reports.
Mr. Mayor, did you want to announce the appointment of Lori?
I did, didn't I? Lori, you're the vice chair. Lori Carter is the vice chair of the Social Equity Commission. Between the two of you, we have some commissions that really do good stuff. We have some that like to walk around saying they're commissioners and don't do anything else. This commission is vitally important. And we expect a lot from you. And we even expect you to rub us the wrong way occasionally. Be courageous. You know what political courage is? It's doing stuff that you might get kicked out of office for. That's really all it is. It's I'm amazed I'm still the mayor. Okay, thank you. Moving on, council reports. What do we have?
Board of Directors for ABTA, we're still working on the food giveaway, December 20th at noon. We have, what we did is we brought the unions together. We brought the charities together. We brought a lot of different organizations together to have a food giveaway. We're spacing them apart because we have such a large space at ABTA. We have over, I think it's 60 acres. So it's a huge place back there, but we're putting them all in. We're gonna have the toy drive, the giveaway. So we'll still do what everybody is. They will not get out of their vehicles. They'll pop their trunk, a bag, the toys, everything can be put in there, and they'll be wearing gloves, mask, and all the protective equipment that they need to. So that's what ABTA is working on. As far as the sanitation district, I spoke earlier on, we're looking to get the rebates for the restaurant owners. And I think there's $42 million. Mr. Mann did a great job. When he ran the sanitation district, there's an extra $42 million in there. We need to start helping the restaurants with it because they pay the bulk share of that. So we're looking to do that. I think that we should get the votes. So the restaurants should get an extra bonus with that. And that's all I have.
Anyone else?
I believe Dr. Stock and I will be meeting with about maybe 15 leaders. And I hate to keep, I don't want to sound like we're beating a dead horse, but in the African-American community to talk to them about, of course, the COVID measures and different things to spread the word of what you're talking about, and also the upcoming vaccine to get them primed and prepared and ready to receive it, since we're one of the cultures that's predominantly hit by this virus. So I appreciate Dr. Larry Stock for reaching out to and really asked me, Daryl, who in the community, and Dr. Jonathan, these guys have been just wonderful. Our deputy mayor is Tiffany Tanner. They've just been wonderful, Rex. And so we got a good growing number of, and I believe it's Friday, am I correct, Dr. Larry?
Yes.
That we're meeting and talking and really discussing and really trying to get, he's already done an excellent job with the Hispanic community. And we're trying our best to just get out there to those communities that are really hit hard, to let them know how serious this is and what we can do to help stop it. So, of course, my field of expertise, of course, is the churches. And I do have about 30, 40 pastors that I oversee right now. So it's a lot of them did respond, and I think they're responding in a great way. And we'll let you know how that conversation goes and any concerns, Rex, that they're hearing that can be addressed. And again, shout out to our deputy mayors, and Dr. Larry is starting to be one of my good friends. I appreciate him, and Dr. Trong and Tiffany. They're really doing a great job.
Thanks, Joe.
I can't say enough. I mean, look at this. We've got these medical professionals sit through this whole meeting. They're there whenever we ask them to be there. They're exhausted, and they're still here. I mean, they didn't just report and get out. They love this community, and you guys are one of the real heroes in this. And I just can't say enough. I guess I have said enough. All right.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Yes, Tiffany.
Just thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. I have a couple things to report. And I know you're probably tired of hearing me. I know I'm tired of talking. But I think it needs to be said. I met with Bobby Cagle of Department of Children and Family Services. Is that it? I always get it confused. DCFS. And he's the new head of it, the new director of it. He's been there about a year now. And what he has done with that department is truly noteworthy. He started a program in the schools where we actually will have social workers in the schools. So there's this exchange of information and ideas. They have become far more responsive to the Antelope Valley in general and Lancaster. We were all shocked and horrified this week when two children were decapitated by their father. Let's be honest about what occurred. It was horrible. But I want to be really clear with this. Children's Services had not been called. They had no information. They did not have the ability to intervene. And they now have programs in place, which they didn't have a year ago, that you can call them when, I understand the level of stress people are under. And I understand that not everybody has big houses and can get away from each other, that they're crammed in apartments. And, if I was crammed in an apartment with my 4 kids when they were younger, I would have, ate my gun, I think. It's a lot of stress. Call. They're not going to come in and take your kids. They're going to give you the resources that are available to you so that we can help and they can help. And the last thing they want is to take another kid if they can avoid it. There's no place to put them, quite frankly. It's a different department. They're a department that and becoming more and more every day, a department that we had hoped for and will be a model for the nation. I know it's hard for some of you to trust them. You need to trust them now because we saw what can happen to essentially, nobody saw this coming. This guy was a personal trainer, had a lot of contact with people. They liked him. He had a lot of repeat customers. They respected him. And then he went nuts and he decapitated his children. The stress loads everybody is under cannot be understated. Pick up the phone and call for help, or just call to have somebody to talk to. More importantly, when you start feeling like that, get out of that house. Get away from those kids. But there's a lot of people that want to help you. You just got to pick up the phone. I'm just really, really happy with the way that department is developing. So Donna, tell Catherine they made a good decision in hiring the people that they have. And the new supervisors up here are just superb individuals. Lee,
I will do.
Lee, would you concur with that?
Yes, yes. We work with them every day, daily. It's one of our biggest caseloads, absolutely, and they're great support for us.
We had another tragedy, and that was Andy. How do you say his last name? Ornelas? Lee, help me out.
Ornelas.
Good.
Yeah, that's correct. Ornelas, Andy Ornelas.
You know, he's a young highway patrol officer on a motorcycle. Motor officers are risking their lives every single day. The number of police officers that die from traffic accidents far exceeds any other cause of death. And especially the motor officers, they don't have the car to protect them from anything. And we saw just how dangerous it was this week. His funeral is tomorrow. I feel remiss that the city hasn't been able to do more to honor his sacrifice. And we will when COVID is over. And we you know, I don't think anybody loves police officers as much as we do. And firemen as much as we do. I mean, we understand just how vital they are. And I want you to, I want the family to know, and I want the officers to know, we know we're being remiss. We know we're not honoring them the way we should. We just don't know how to do that without coming together. And I mean, it's obvious this COVID thing has messed us all up. But we are not going to forget, and we will honor him when we can come together and do it right. But that does not mean we don't acknowledge the incredible sacrifice his family has made. Now, I guess what's left is just public comment. Is that right?
I got a couple things to report, Rex.
Okay. Good.
Yeah, just a couple things. One, we applied to become a member of the California Fuel Cell Partnership. We were accepted into that organization, so we're the second city to be accepted behind San Francisco. Obviously, with our push for hydrogen, this is a unique opportunity to partner with industry leaders, legislative leaders, et cetera, in trying to accomplish those goals. So that's good news for us. We don't want everybody to remember the drive-in movies. The night before Christmas is December 10th and 11th. Grinch Who Stole Christmas 18th, and then 17th, we're working with Catherine Barker's office on a special show. So thank you, Donna, for your help in that.
And you know, really want to thank you guys for working with us on that too. We're very excited about it and really appreciate your support. Your staff's been great, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you.
Good. And of course, our Holiday Lights Extravaganza at Steve Owen Park. It started December 4th through December 31st. Take a time to drive through there. It's COVID safe, it's COVID friendly, and it's got a great light show going on for you. And then December 9th through the 11th on the Boulevard, we've got our Magical Boulevard drive-through event from 6 to 8. So make sure you participate on that. And then one note, and Rex, you mentioned it in a meeting the other day about, you know, carrying a 100-pound sack on your back and trying to do your work. You know, that's the kind of when you talk about the stuff we're going through, the 100-pound sack is what we got it on. But I always think to ourselves with the staff and the people we have working on this council, what we can do as a community with that 100-pound sack off our back. And we think with this vaccine coming soon, we'll be doing that pretty soon. As a result, and I know what we've got coming forward, we're doing a little rebrand in the city. And that rebrand is kind of an emergence of something new and something different from a look, from a perspective. And today we're announcing that. So with that, I'm going to have a clerk press a special video to go over the rebrand and the announcement of that.
Imagine a picturesque desert surrounded by lush forests of untold beauty, with miles of recreation not too far, yet not too close to Los Angeles. From the classic Americana of tree-lined streets to sprawling equestrian ranches, all saturated with the temperate LA sun. Businesses are built, and the spirit of entrepreneurship is alive and well. So who are we? We are a diverse community leading the future through science, technology, art, culture, and collaboration. We are home to families, astronauts, rocket scientists, and innovative businesses of all sizes. We are surrounded by spectacular landscapes and clean air. We are bold, confident, resilient. We are creating a better tomorrow together. We are the City of Lancaster.
Great, thank you. So that is the new brand. You'll be seeing that on our publications. You'll be seeing it in an updated website, on our vehicles, all around. That has been a long process from the community, of our communications department. We did focus groups, we did interviews, we did surveys, we did everything else, and it came up with that. And I personally love it. And I know your council had a big input in that. So thank you guys very much. And you'll be seeing that out in the community regularly. And one last, not to be least, we have a new chief with us. Assistant Chief Stuckey is with us. He'll be taking over for Tom Sullivan, who is, I don't know if it's a promotion or not, but he'll be flying in the skies of helicopters above wildfires. So I'd like to welcome Chief to the team. He's been on the last couple meetings, and wanted to make sure we formally introduce him and let you guys say hi.
Hi.
Good evening. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I guess you can't tell we're looking at you.
Oh, no. Yes, I can. Yes, sir, I can. So, Mayor Paris, members of the City Council, thanks for having me. As you guys know, Tom Sullivan, I'm telling the guys at the station that Sully wasn't cutting it, and we sent him down to Air Wildland, but that couldn't be any further from the truth. So they brought me up here. I got 33 years with the fire department, 10 of them on a Type 1 incident management team as an operations section chief. So no stranger to large-scale incidents. I started my career up in the Antelope Valley, first 8 years of my career up there. So no stranger to the AV. Super excited to be back. I had a bunch of notes here. I think the biggest thing I want to get across to you guys, I got two things for you, is trust. And build that trust with you guys. Pick up where Sully left off. Work together. It's a little tough to navigate things in this COVID virtual world and getting out and reaching out. Started out this week with a couple of unfortunate events. Got to work with a couple of you guys, and Dr. Trong, Dr. Stock, your face says it all. You guys are going hard, and I just want to, it can't be lost on the fact that the hospitals are getting hammered, and that trickles out to us on the fire department, on the streets, with the ambulances coming in and our paramedic squads coming in. So just trust that, well, in the last week, we've surged resources up into the Antelope Valley from as far away as West Hollywood, San Fernando Valley, Santa Clarita Valley. So we're trying to stay in front of things, stay out in front of the COVID stuff as well. And super excited to be here. I had all kinds of different notes, but I applaud where you guys are going on the COVID stuff, and proud to be a part of the team back in the AV. So thank you.
Thank you. We're gonna have better days together. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all I had, Mayor. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Let me find my place.
We are on the city clerk's announcement, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, city clerk, let's see what the folks have to say.
At this time, anyone wishing to comment on non-agendized items, please press *9. I will announce the last 4 digits of your call-in number when it is your turn to speak. Please state your name and eliminate any background noise. Individual speakers are limited to 3 minutes each. State law prohibits council from taking action on items not listed on the agenda. Please press *9 at this time if you want to comment on non-agendized items. Caller with the last 4 digits, 4618. Please state your name. Caller with the last 4 digits, 4618. Please state your name.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and distinguished members of the City Council. My name is Luis Haro, and I want to take a moment to reflect on the year ahead and recommend 2 city initiatives that I think would help our residents. This year has been full of unexpected challenges, to say the least. We've endured challenges that have forced us to change our very way of life in order to protect our neighbors. And we will never truly know who we might have saved in our individual capacity with the simple act of wearing a mask or foregoing a birthday party. But collectively, we know that many are going to be able to celebrate the holidays next year because of the actions we took in the city this year to protect lives. But I also want to be clear, 2021 will accompany its own challenges. Even as we inch closer to a vaccine, we still need masks, and we'll still need the city to invest resources to help rebuild the local economy. Tonight, I especially want to applaud the City Council, Shannon, and all the staff who helped secure funds for our local restaurants. A proposal that I would like the City Council to consider is a worker recall ordinance. A worker recall ordinance would help stimulate the local economy by connecting laid off workers to the jobs they lost at the onset of the pandemic. Specifically, it would require employers in certain industries to hire workers that were laid off because of loss of business. And the requirement would only be triggered when the employer decides to hire again. Several California cities have already enacted worker recall rights. The city of San Diego in particular has an ordinance that can serve as a model for the city of Lancaster. Another proposal that I have is the Commission of a Road Safety Task Force, a committee responsible for evaluating traffic safety in Lancaster and recommending changes to the city council. Just today, I read in the paper about a fatal traffic collision on Challenger Way, and it's one of the many collisions that I've heard of in the area recently. Ensuring traffic safety is a plenary responsibility of local government. A task force with the responsibility to research best practices and field concerns from residents could help keep our residents safe on the road. In conclusion, I just want to express my deepest gratitude for the City Council and all the staff, all of whom deserve raises and a long vacation next year. And just in conclusion, I want to wish everyone happy holiday season and a prosperous new year. We'll be here next year ready to continue the good work ahead. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was wonderful. Thank you. I mean, and those are good ideas we have to look into. All right. Anyone else?
Caller with the last 47232. Please state your name.
Good evening again. This is Fran Saris, and I don't want to make a long thing. I just want to, first of all, thank Lancaster, the city of Lancaster and the community for what you're doing for the community and the restaurants. It's going to be a great help, and I applaud you. And that's one of the reasons I love working and living in Lancaster. I don't work. I advocate in Lancaster. But I did want to bring something up. I know it's kind of late, but I thought since I thought of doing this earlier, I thought I'd bring it up because it concerns the community. The Department of Public Works, the LA Waterworks, is increasing the bill by 4.8%. And I called LA Waterworks and asked them, why are you increasing the rates, especially now that the jobs are scarce and people are out of money? And the only thing they said, well, they had brought this up 6 months ago, but I also mentioned 6 months ago we already had this problem. Why are they pushing it through now, insisting on pushing it through? 6.8%. Our Social Security is only going up 1.3%. And I just thought I'd bring it up. And thank you very much again. Happy New Year, and God bless you all.
Fran, this is Donna. You can call our office tomorrow. The supervisor's working with them to try to be creative and how the least amount can be passed on to the residents. So we're working on it with the Department of Public Works, and I just wanted you to know that. I can give you some more information offline on that.
Okay, great. Thank you, Donna. God bless you.
If there are no other speakers at this time.
Thank you. Well, some good news. 2021 will be much better. We will be announcing employers coming in. we are literally talking about thousands of jobs coming our way, not hundreds, thousands. The BYD plant is not going, well, I've been sworn to secrecy, but we got another factory coming in that's going to be just as big and just as innovative. And we also have the Japanese industries coming in a very big way because of our stance on hydrogen. What I'm saying is, as bad as this year is, next year is going to be better. There is going to be employment. If you want a job, we will have a job for you. We can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The vaccine is here on Friday, and they will start that process. I'm really incredibly happy with the current distribution plans of that vaccine. It is much faster than we thought it would be. Hopefully, if they stay on track, there's every reason to believe they will stay on track. And for the anti-vaxxers out there, I understand that there might be people that don't want to do it. So don't. I don't care. The council doesn't care. We have enough people that are going to want to be safe from this virus that if you want to go out there and get sick, you're certainly free to do it. Am I saying, Larry, you're looking a little stressed. Am I saying something I shouldn't?
Not at all. Not at all.
This is not going to be enforced on anybody. Now, employers might enforce it. I know that if you work for me, you better have that vaccine, unless there's a medical reason not to. I think the hospital may be enforcing it or making it very clear that everybody needs to get it. It's 95% effective. Are you taking a risk when you take it? Yes, you are. We don't know for certain that everybody's going to be safe, but we do know that 1 out of 100,000 is probably what the results, where the danger lies. It's minute compared to what happens with you if you get COVID-19. More importantly, it is minute compared to what you will do to others if you pass that virus to them. So we're encouraging everybody to get it. We're fighting very hard to make certain our people get it on time without waiting behind anybody. And I think so far, Catherine Barger's office has done a very good job of ensuring that. We have purchased the ultra cold freezers. Can you imagine a freezer that gets down to 80 below? Wow, 80 below. That's really cold. We got 2 of them, and I think the county is bringing one up here also. So we will be able to distribute this. We've got everything in place. We can attack this virus and succeed. We just need to have the will to do it. I think we do. I think we've got far more people that are wanting to engage the enemy than those who want to commit treason. But that's what it is at this point. The city council will adjourn in memory of Dr. Morthy.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mayor, we're not adjourning quite yet.
Why?
Because we're going to close session.
Oh, I don't want to go into closed session. I guess we have to, huh?
I think we will be quick, but we do need to go into closed session for the items listed on the agenda.
Okay. Bye, folks. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thanks. So do we go to a breakout room? How do we do this?
Yes, we should have a breakout room starting. I hope that the appropriate folks are getting an invitation into the breakout room.
I haven't yet.
Nor have I.
Cassandra, get some sleep. I mean, people are working themselves to death. I'm waiting. Stop sharing the screen. That might help.
Oh, there it goes. It popped up.
Ah, okay. Can someone kill that screen?
Mr. Mayor, would you like me to do my announcement?
Yes, and from now on, after executive session, staff can, they don't have to stay. That's a crazy waste of time. Of their energies. Yeah, go ahead.
In closed session, the council took up closed session item number 2 and gave direction to staff and legal counsel. No reportable action.
Back to where I was. The city council will adjourn in memory of Dr. Morthy, who passed away on November 12, 2020. He was a dedicated and caring physician who was loved and respected by his patients and colleagues. He served the people of the Antelope Valley for over 40 years and was on the staff of Lancaster Community Hospital, Antelope Valley Hospital, and Palmdale Regional Health Center. Dr. Morthy really was a great member of this community, and we really will miss him. Raj, be sure to tell his wife how much we wish we could have been at the funeral for him. And this, we are suffering his loss.
Mayor, they received the flowers and everything, so they really appreciate what you did and the city staff. So I just want to thank everybody for, and I will also convey this message.
He will be missed. The next meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, January 12, 2021, and hopefully we will have great news to announce that a significant portion of the community will have been vaccinated, but I know that's a little wishful thinking. But certainly the first responders, and we should have made a dent into our most vulnerable population by then. Once again, thank you, Larry. Thank you, Dr. Trom. Thank you, Tiffany. Wow. We really got some great people in this city. I forget sometimes just what a great place this is. Good night. Have a great
Happy holidays.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Happy holidays to you again.
Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy Hanukkah. Oh, Christmas Eve is my birthday, so y'all remember that. 48 years old.
Oh, all right.
Happy birthday.
Till next year.
Happy birthday, Daryl.
Bye.